And you realize in the collection of 4 different cameras, we have far more computing power than the Apollo mission combined.
Oh, that's
right?
crazy.
Yeah. I mean, we have more computing power in the palm of our hands. What we don't have is like genius troubleshooting engineers.
Right.
So the wetware is significantly lacking here. Okay. All right. So what we were saying, yeah, I want to go back to talking about techniques for harder connection on rope bondage. That's not about this. All right. So I know a lot of people get intimidated by thinking about rope bondage and techniques as being about the knots. It ain't the knots. So first of all, bring down your expectation, yeah? And then to clearly understand as to the scope of one's responsibility. We were talking about dominance and submission. When one is playing with dominance and submission, you know, it's not about somebody submitting all of their life to another and somebody like dominating all the life to somebody else. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of responsibility, and it sounds like adulting now, doesn't it?
Yes.
So why do that? This is cops and robbers with fucking, right? When you think about it, Simon Says is a DS game.
Oh.
What? Right?
I never thought about it that way. I love
Says
that.
is a, hi Sarah, Simon Says is a DS game. And if we were playing Simon Says, right, the only scope of authority that I would have is in this limited scope of me telling you things. And if it's prefaced with Simon Says, right, so then it's about rule following and game design. And people get mucked up around what dominance and submission is, and it's really about collaborative game design of a limited scope and of authority. So when somebody who's engaging in dominance temporarily over you says that they want their input, it's not a it's not a mucking up and losing power, but think of it in terms of that person gathering data and information.
I love that. So everything's then a learning experience.
Yeah.
And learning how you can better please your partner.
Or, you know, how
to please yourself.
Or have a mutually righteous time.
Mutually righteous.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, because it's, if we just focus on, I want to please partner, where's the I? And it's like, if I just want to please me, where's the you? But if it's mutually, I mean, that's the whole point of having a good time.
But that's some of what I meant by I actually think whichever roles you're in service to the other person.
Your service to both of y'all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's this infinity loop. And for me, as the woo person, I'm going to talk about how that then becomes devotion, right? You're devoted to each other's pleasure, to each other's fun.
You go with that.
My scope of devotion is really quite
You go
big.
with that.
And hi, Heather. Hi, Jay. Jay Wiseman's joined us.
Yeah.
Hey, Andy. It's so good to see you guys.
Yeah. Hey, Jay. How's it going? Yeah. So setting the expectation around who's taking the limited scope of authority, okay, and what our objective is. And when I say objective, I mean, sometimes when people are thinking about rope bondage, they're like, I want to be in this position. That's not the objective, folks.
Right.
The objective is how you want to feel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. How do we want to feel? So if, you know, splayed out in a spread eagle makes you feel this way or that, yay. But if splayed out in spread eagle takes away from whatever it is the feel that you want, then that's not the right. It doesn't matter how technically correct the tie is. If it's not achieving a desired emotional outcome,
well, it's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think part of the thing that folks get caught up on, right? So,
hi, Sarah.
Simple techniques for hotter connection is about setting achievable expectations, right? And what's the point? Right? So what's the point is, do I want to feel happy? Do I want to feel held? Do I want to feel exposed? Do I want to laugh? Do I want to cry? Oh, here's a practical idea of ask the question of and answer it for yourself. What do you look like and sound like when it's good for you? And what do you look like, sound like when it's not good for you? Like before the safe word comes up.
Right.
Yeah.
This was one of the tools that you used when I bottomed for you. That was so helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Actually got me a little nervous.
Mm-hmm.
Demoing for you. I should say demoing, not bottoming. Anyway, in this class, because I didn't want Midori to be bored. I was demoing at a conference.
Mm-hmm. It was a scene, though.
Well, it was a scene,
and
right?
You were bottoming, yeah, and I was topping.
Yeah. And I so didn't want you to be bored with our play, which I certainly wasn't bored. Mm-hmm. I don't think the room watching us was bored either. Mm-hmm. But what was lovely was you said, what does it sound like when you're having a good time? Mm-hmm. And what does it sound like when you're not? And then you said, if I have to keep asking you how this is for you,
I'm not having a good time.
Right. And that was great data. And you didn't ask me that once.
Yeah.
And I got to be in my kink of pleasing because I'm like, yay, Midori seems to be having fun.
So, all right.
So negotiating for success ahead of time actually makes things more simple, manages the expectations, and generally you have more fun.
Yep. And making sure that the other person has signposts and clues that lets each other know we're having a good time or we need to course correct, right? So that's helpful. Major rope bondage practical tip number 1, blindfold. Blindfold. Seriously, if the other person's receiving the blindfolds right with it, go with that, because man, it takes the pressure off of you of the visual scope. So if you have any uncertainty, like, oh my God, what am I doing? Yeah. And that way the focus ends up on motion and sensation. Blindfold.
I really love that, Midori, because probably my least successful,
blindfold.
This is unexpected. I didn't think Midori is going to be blindfolding herself.
Also serves as a scarf.
On the screen. Look, they're loving that. They're loving that. But yeah, I remember being tied one evening in a dungeon, and I think the person, I played with him before, but the person in charge, shall we say, was verbally expressing that he was like, I don't know if that's going to work. I'm not sure if that's okay. That was terrible. It killed the whole scene for me. Now, it would have been totally fine to call the scene if it didn't work, right? Or say, hey.
But you were left in a constant state of doubt, and your head was full of like the bad kind of doubt as opposed to an occasional well-placed oops. Because, that's fun to fuck people.
They like this, clearly. So if you guys happen to like anything that we're saying or find something hot, feel free to add the likes or the hearts. We love hearts. To send the love, so we know it's resonating for you.
Another practical tip is don't stress on complicated tying. I know that, you might see images online because, it's a visual culture, a bunch of different, humans in macrame.
Yes.
Humans in complicated macrame. Those are photos. Those are visual inspirations. They are not a recipe of things that you need to do. Your pleasure is your own, and understand that these hot pictures with complicated human macrame is an inspiration, but not a goal. It's it's like looking at a beautiful cooking photo. If you've ever in a
recipe book
through recipe books or gorgeously staged stunning meals, that
is not how it's going to look in your head.
Well, and
certainly not in my home.
And that's not even the objective, right? I mean, there's this visual fantasy. The visual fantasy, whether it's cooking, food, travel, sex, These are visual fantasies to whet our appetites, and it's not a dictate of standards of performance. And when we look at travel porn and food porn, we understand this, or house porn. How many of us like house porn and interior decorating porn and like looking, and when I say porn, I mean that which, like Condé Nast. See, Kath likes cooking, right? I love visual inspiration, like I love creating like a travel bucket list, the places I want to go.
Is it really just a bucket list, Midori? You're always on an airplane.
Yeah, but there are things that, it's like a travel to work to teach, right?
Yes.
There are places I want to go to that there's not a chance in hell, nor do I want to do. I don't really want to do a workshop while scuba diving in the midst of the Philippines. Really, I don't.
Right.
I don't. Okay.
You just want to go and dive in the Philippines.
I just want to like swim with tentacly critters, which is an entirely different conversation. But yeah. So when we're looking at visual inspirations of things that give us joy. I love how you can make
even diving kinky, Midori.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So when we look at these visual inspirations, travel, cooking, decorating, we understand that these are aspirational, and what we're looking at fundamentally is an emotional state.
Yes.
Right?
This is the feeling part you spoke to.
It's the feeling part. So how do I want to feel, right? And when I'm looking at, like, say, beautiful rope bondage photo, don't just stop at looking at, don't let your gaze stop and just consider the knots and the rope. But what we're actually responding to is the emotional state we imagine the people are having.
Yes. Even
though intellectually we may know that this is a photo shoot, it was probably staged and styled, and look how perfect the room looks. There isn't like a pile of laundry in the corner. Right? There's no pile of laundry in the corner. The lighting is perfect.
Yes.
The makeup is smudged just the right way. Right?
Smudged perfectly.
Perfectly, right? And we're projecting what we want to experience, that they're experiencing it.
Right.
So the skill in looking at a hot bondage photo, you only need to acquire a basic 2-column tie or a simple chest harness to do most of the things. Don't put additional pressure on yourself that you need to accomplish like exact replication, because in the process of trying to achieve an exact replication, let me tell you, your partner's going to be bored out of their skull. Or trying desperately to hold on to a shred of moment of pleasure.
Yes, because the person, and I've experienced this a lot actually, I've had the gift of playing with a lot of people that are technically brilliant, but there's no connection. For me, there's actually very little pleasure, even though I get off on rope a lot, so I can find my own ways into it. But I can't feel the other person because they're so in their head designing the engineering of this complicated tie that they want to do.
So here's a tip, is eyes off your hands, eyes off the rope, eyes on person. So, all right, maybe we'll role play this out.
Okay. Now she wants to role play with me. Oh my goodness.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, everything okay?
Yes, we're
juggling.
Good. Oh, look, they're getting excited. We're going to role play.
All right. So, before the play, I may say, okay, so what kind of mood do we want to go to? What kind of feelings do we want to go to? By the way, aside, that is like the same conversation you would have when choosing a movie, right? It's like, hey, what kind of movie do you want to see? Mm-hmm. I'm kind of in the mood for horror. How about you? And you might go, no. Okay, what about science fiction?
Neither of those.
What?
Rom-com.
What about, oh God, I hate rom-coms. What about, hey,
thriller. I could go for a thriller.
You can go thriller?
I can go thriller.
What
horror,
about
not so much.
Thriller with like romantic leads?
Yes.
Right? We have now achieved an overlap and a mutual agreement upon. It's a bit of a thriller with a romantic subplot because, okay, science fiction would leave you glazed over.
I would.
And a rom-com, I've actually thrown popcorn at the screen.
I don't think we've ever chosen a movie together.
I am like the worst person to see a rom-com with. It's usually like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. I was seeing like, what was it, 47 Ronin with Keanu Reeves. Going to see that apparently with a friend of mine was like going to Mystery Theater 3000 because I critiqued everything. There was also no one in the room, so no one in the theater, so it was perfect because it sucked.
Look at what Mark's saying. I love that. Sci-fi rope.
Oh, actually, there's a whole lot of bondage in science fiction, don't you know? Yeah. Okay.
But I love how simple that negotiation was.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because even though we started off quite far apart, you wanted horror and sci-fi, and I wanted rom-com.
And then we found an overlap of thriller with a romantic component.
Yes.
So just like that. So if we're playing tonight, what kind of mood do we want to go to? What kind of feels do we want to have?
So I definitely want to let go of adulting. I want to feel like I've had a vacation and that I'm held tight, if we're playing with rope, held tightly and nurtured by being taken care of.
I'm feeling a bit of levity, like the world is too damn serious right now.
Okay.
I could
agree.
I could use a little silly.
Uh-huh. How do you want to include silly?
Silly. Little giggles. Yeah. Kind of sort of feeling that, you know.
I think you might even get off on helping me be silly because I'm so fucking serious all the time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That you could get me over to the silly side.
Yeah, just a little bit silly, you know. And yeah, I'd like to like not. I have tons of thought squirrels. Thought squirrels, my friends, are all of those to-do lists. How many of us have thought squirrels? I have tons.
So I have to do my practices.
Yep.
Yeah.
So thought squirrels. I would like to just have like sweet. I'm kind of in the mood for sweet. How does sweet sound?
Sounds. My whole body shifted the minute you said the word
sweet. Sound good?
And
the thing with sweet for me is like if I'm topping, right? Topping can have a lot of expectation and pressure. And sweet gives me a bit of permission to only be in charge of that much.
As opposed to I have to totally take care of this whole person right now. Pressure.
Right.
Got it.
Or I have to be uber dom. No, I would like to be sweet and be in charge of making the sweet happen for us. We now agreed upon a mood. And sweet is actually a mood that can happen. All right, so, all right. I'm going to suggest, we don't have to go over this right now. I'm going to suggest you go find 2-column ties somewhere. If you go on YouTube and look under Planet Midori, I show how to do 2-column ties. All right, so we've set a mood. Okay, and let's say if I'm to tie, let's take them bracelets.
I put all these pretty sparkly bracelets on, but you have to remove the jewelry.
Practical tip: you want to have these
safety scissors, so you'll cut the rope, but not the person.
Yeah. Hey Jay, safety scissors.
Yes,
dude.
I think I have like 3 in my play bag.
Well, you know what safety scissors are also good for? They're also good for cutting off pre-negotiated clothing.
Oh. Wonderful tips we're getting on this video today.
So also practical tip. Pre-negotiate clothing that can be destroyed. Find out which ones cannot be destroyed. And remind the person to bring a change of clothes.
You've done this before, haven't you, Midori? So they might go thrift store shopping in advance of the play.
And there might be a reason why I'm saying pre-negotiate for that, and make sure that you also remind them to bring a change of clothes, because it was at one time that I forgot to mention the part about bringing the change of clothes, and we had to safety pin the dress back together.
I have to say that's awesome. Probably not so much for the person
It was actually
After
really
the
punk
scene.
rock and looked really good. But there was a moment afterwards where we both went,
Oh, goodness.
see, everything I teach is based upon things I have fucked up, okay? I mean, really.
Well, that's how we learn often,
Yeah,
right? So,
yeah.
so yes.
And actually, that's a really important point because I think today, with an abundance of information, there's this pressure that we have to be like perfect and good out the gate. And if you're playing with somebody who's new to topping, keep it simple and be compassionate mutually for exploration and oopsies.
Well, something I like to engage often is to say, let's just do some lab where we're just playing, we're just practicing, but we're not in the scene, more pressure. So you can just play.
Yeah.
And there's the, well, I'm just, especially if you're learning, say, a new Thai.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then let's just see, because I love rope so much.
It's like, oh no.
People practicing the Thai is fun on people like me.
Yeah.
So it still could be hot and sexy, but there's not the like, now I have to be enrolled while I'm learning this new
And practicing
technique.
time and just being with the other person is connecting.
Yeah.
That's connecting. It's having a cup of coffee. It's enjoying one another's companionship. And there's a lot to be said for enjoying just another person's companionship. And in search of, I think sometimes in search of profoundness, we fail to appreciate the profound treasure of the ordinary.
I don't tweet, but that's like a tweet right there.
Yeah. Could somebody write that down, please?
Oh.
Yeah, I think if we just, keep looking for peaks and summits, we don't notice that the valley is beautiful.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's actually, just bring it back to Neo-Tantra for my audience, that's really a lot about what Tantra is. And it's one of the things I like about kink is it invites you to be exquisitely present in each moment, which is what meditation is.
Yeah.
Really.
And as somebody who's, secular Buddhist, it's also the same stuff. So yeah, sometimes a cup of tea is just a cup of tea and it's not a damn tea ceremony.
Right. I love that.
It's like, hi, would you like some tea? Would you like to make this excruciatingly uncomfortable and judgmental? Or would you like a cup of tea?
Well, what's excruciating for me, I'll just let you all in. I don't even think Midori realizes this. She's sitting here and she's like, she probably does because she's that fucking good, but she's sitting there playing with rope and she's making me wait. By the way, we didn't talk about what was going to happen.
Yeah.
I didn't actually know there may be tying involved.
So, strings can be cat toys. As many of you know, I like cats. Strings can also be pussy toys. I make a dirty joke.
You did.
Whew. Okay, so we've set the mood, sweet,
Yes.
right? With a limited scope of dominance and submission because, hey, pressure, relieve pressure, right? So I could do a 2-column tie, which you will look up in YouTube or Vimeo under Planet Midori, at Planet Midori. All my stuff's Planet Midori. Okay. So I could do a 2-column tie like this. All right, so let's say we're doing wrists because we can show the wrists on here easily as opposed to other 2 columns. The human body comes in a lot of 2 columns. I could do, let's see if we're positioned right for all the
Do you
camera.
need me to move?
Yeah, okay, there we go. Okay.
So that everybody can see.
So I could do the 2-column tie like this.
Well, notice where her drishti or where her attention and eye gaze is.
And you can see that I probably need a dye job because now you're looking at the roots of my hair dye job. You're like going, oh, girl, I can see your roots.
I'm actually looking at your eyes, desperate for you to connect with me.
I'm like, okay, and then I am doing this, and I have, okay, I am, all right, tying in. Is this okay? Is this okay? Does this feel okay? Yay or nay?
I don't know how
You're like, yeah, there you go. And what was wrong? Okay, so simple tip. Eyes off my own hands, eyes off the rope, and eyes on the person. Let's try this again,
Please.
okay? So what was the mood again? Sweet, right? Okay, so I got a rope, and with a little bit of levity, let's see if we can do this. Okay.
Hang on a sec. I need to fan myself off because it's already getting hot in here and about to get hotter with the...
Ooh! So I could do things like, hi, 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 hi. Oh, looky, it's some rope.
Oh, talking's getting better. I often tell people, like, you can go learn all the fancy things, but just drag the rope across my skin, and that's...
So the things that we'll be learning in Rope Dojo through multiple drills of things that seem perfectly simple, because we go through drills of the fundamentals, but we'll talk about things like, we'll go through fundamentals, but at the same time, we layer it in with challenges like eyes on person. Now, eyes on person, I had somebody go, I can't be doing eye gazing all the time. Eyes on person can also be, yeah, I'm checking out your body. Oh, yes. I am looking at your body and your curves and your boobies.
Boobies got presented a little.
Boobies, but also engaging in what I call 3 points of contact. So I could engage in 3 points of contact. I have 1, I have 2, and you don't see my knee onto knee. And then...
Oh, I felt the knee as soon as it engaged.
But you can't see it. Yeah. And now we are doing a simple 2-column tie. Now, the thing with a simple 2-column tie is if you practice this enough, you actually don't have to look at your hands. Because, folks, do you look at your zipper or your buttons? I mean, you can unzip your fly without looking at it. You can do little rope bondage without looking at it. All right? So, yeah.
I'd love to get me too high.
And now, my favorite thing, which is...
cinch with gusto.
Check this out. Oh, looky. Looky, 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 looky. It's not cinched yet.
I said it was into objectification earlier. Oh, Midori. Hi. Awesome.
Hi. So how are we doing on the...
Oh, we're doing very good.
On the sweet with levity thing?
Well, I'm dropping into a depth of sweetness, but what I love is she's got me really altered with a 2-column tie. That's amazing.
So there are components in this, which is like figuring out what kind of mood we want to go. Every decision I make is going to flow from and always measured against the mood we want to create. And that which appears to be intuitive, like it's not just magically coming in. For the way that I think of intuition is a series of micro nano decisions. And it's made so quickly that it feels like it's not thought of. It's not overly thought of. It's not like at the executive functioning level, but every decision I make is going to be based upon measuring it against and putting it up against. Is this sweet? Is this giving you a held feeling?
And to be able to get to that intuitive state, you have to do a lot of practice, right? Yeah. And this is one of the ways Rope Dojo is amazing. It's been a long time. It's been about 8 years since I did Rope Dojo with Midori. Oh, very good. I'm just going to put my attention.
There you go. Keep talking. I'll just fan you.
Oh, I see aftercare. Thank you. Midori. Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. That was fun.
That was fun.
Yeah.
Amazing how much hotness. It's like you were saying, it could be the complicated macrame.
Or it can just be eyes. It can be a 2-column tie.
Yeah.
Eyes off hands. Eyes off hands.
Thank you.
Eyes off rope.
Yeah.
Eyes on person. When I say eyes on person, it's metaphorical, so you don't have to be like.
I really love that, Midori, because Neo-Tantra teaches a lot of eye gazing, which is potent. There's a lot of intimacy there. But I love what you said about, like, eyes on person can be checking them out.
Because,
Yes. It felt totally different the second time. And it didn't matter for me when Midori's eyes shifted between my eyes and the rest of my body. In fact, made things way better, right? But the looking at the rope,
I cannot lie.
I was desperate. I was staring at your eyes, desperate to try and make you connect with me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I didn't think I could make Midori do anything, you guys. But it's one of the things I love about Rope Dojo is that you teach a lot of simple but really important foundational techniques, and you get to practice over and over and over and over again
until it's habit.
Exactly.
Until
so then
habit.
it's just coming.
Yep. And they're coming.
And they're coming. Good job. But it's also changed a lot. I mean, I just went, I was looking through the Rope Dojo site.
Oh, and forgive me, the site is going to get redesigned sometime next year. So not a web designer at all.
I know, we have to learn all these other skills, right?
But yeah, the program has changed a lot.
So much.
Right?
And you have some, I mean, you're a badass in and of yourself, Midori.
The instructors, the cadre members are amazing. We've got Monk from Twisted Monk. We got Delano, who was teaching bottoming skills in the 90s.
Well, he was there when I did your program.
Yeah.
That demo was incredible that I saw.
And yeah, he's an amazing teacher. Michelle will be there. Lolita Wolf from New York. Great dancer in Naya.
Oh,
yeah. So we have an amazing team of people, each with their incredible expertise. And we go over, it's like in a martial arts class, right? You can take a basic block, or you can take a basic punch or a basic stance and spend an entire lifetime practicing it, because there's additional subtleties and depth. So instead of going for increased complication.
Sorry, say that again. I got distracted. Somebody said Delano is so hot, and I got distracted by that wonderful comment.
It is. So instead of adding to complication and feeling like one is achieving because of gaining complication, what we learn in dojo is the depth of connective tools, of the not obvious skills. Like in the middle of playing, if there's 3 points of connection of where the person is looking, where the person's intention is, the focus and the decision making, these are all the intangibles. They're soft skills.
Right.
So focusing on soft skills, focusing on the presence and the passion and delight. There are plenty of places today. Now, because today there are plenty of places where you can learn complications, I leave that to go find that.
Yes.
And with Rope Dojo, we strip it down to like the bare essence with amazing psychological and emotional nuance that if you were to watch from the side, you can't really put a finger on why this scene is so hot if you were just watching. But it actually breaks down to component skills and discipline, whether you are topping or bottoming, because there is such a thing as badass bottoming skills. Yeah.
Might be another topic we could do for a Facebook Live.
Badass bottoming skills. And not over-anticipating. Not anticipating is actually a bottoming skill.
Yes, I had to learn that. Yeah. Because if you're being too helpful, then you're not actually offering over the control.
So I'll show this move that don't do this. When I say don't be a penguin. I have funny things I say all the time. I have funny things I say. Like cinching with gusto is like one of these funny things I say. Hey, new sticker. Haha. I'm actually using this as a Patreon special offer.
Oh, how wonderful. Yeah. So make sure your Patreon link
goes. If you go to Patreon, it's at Planet Midori, because
everything is at Planet Midori.
So penguin. All right. So let's say
facing you.
Yeah, the objective here is I'm going to have you put a rope around my chest, okay? All right, so I'm just going to have you like put it around, like, you're going to put a towel around me, sort of thing, all right? Okay, so actually, I want you to do it from underneath also because of the screen.
Thank you.
Okay.
So here,
Oh, hold on.
like this.
Okay, let's try that again. Let's see if folks catch it.
I'm hella nervous. I've got to put rope on Midori. Oh my god. Okay.
What just happened?
Okay, so that's the penguin.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right, so that's the penguin. I'm over anticipating movement, right? So that means that I've essentially taken the decision out of your hand. So over anticipating means that if I'm doing the penguin, right, and if I like yell at you in dojo, because I will yell at you, okay, just be used to it.
As a drill sergeant.
Yeah, well, and the other cadres, they're the nice people. I turn into a little Japanese man along the way. I totally do. Undo. But if I'm doing penguin, or if I'm over anticipating, or I suddenly bring my wrists up for you to tie it, that means I am a half a second in the future.
Instead of being exquisitely in the present.
Right.
Oh,
and if I'm half a second in the future, and if I'm always half a second in the future, we're not present together.
Right.
And now you're having to play catch up to manage my over anticipation.
Mm-hmm.
Also, if our mood is sweet and fun, then, okay, I'm going to move your body here. If the mood is sweet and fun, moving your body like this makes sense. But let's say the mood is like feisty fight fucking, Yeah, okay. And with feisty fight fucking, right?
Look, they love it again, Midori.
Yeah.
Your hearts are awesome, you guys.
So if we were feisty fight fucking and I were just able to move you, would that be suited to the mood?
No.
No. In feisty fight fucking, it'll be, yeah. Come here, you. Right. And so that's feisty fight fucking, and the mood is
sweet.
Yeah. And
what was the mood again?
Feisty fight fucking mood, and that would be perfectly attuned to the mood and the play we're creating.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas if we were doing, if we were going for sweet and you give me the resistance, then to me, I'm like, oh, you don't want to do this.
Right. So setting that intention is really important.
Yeah.
So you both know you're on the same playing field.
Are we playing, to bring it to like, are we seeing a rom-com or are we seeing horror, right? And if you come out like, if we come out of a thriller, right? And we were just like, we could see the plot play out in like the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, boring.
Whereas if we go to a rom-com and we're expecting, the meet cute, thing one meets thing two, thing one pursues thing two, thing 1 and 2 fall out, then they come back together because of thing 3, and then in the end, thing 1 and thing 2.
You really don't like them, do you?
I'm also trying to be gender neutral.
Okay, I see. Thing 1, thing 2. Okay.
Right,
I like that.
Yeah, because, I want to be gender neutral on this, because there's a way too much like heteronormative romance, right? So thing 1, thing 2.
We're getting to fuck with that today, when
Yeah. So thing 1, thing 2, and then if we're expecting a rom-com, we want at the end for thing 1 and thing 2 to be together, and have some laughs along the way.
Yes.
But if we were going to see a rom-com, and along the way we were terrified, and then in the end, one killed the other and ate it. Oh,
and ate it. Midori always, it's so interesting being your friend and your colleague. It's like you manage to weave in, as if it's the most normal thing ever, these like sick, twisted thoughts.
Read my science fiction.
There we go. People are asking for sci-fi earlier. What's
Sci-fi.
The name, just for those that might not see it on the screen?
Master Han's Daughter. It's a bit of science fiction I wrote. But if you want, I actually wrote rom-com, Did you know I actually wrote a rom-com?
I don't think I did.
I actually wrote a rom-com.
Silk Threads, 3 Tales of Passionate Japan.
Yeah, I actually wrote a rom-com in which so I wrote that with Laura Antonou and Cecilia Tan, and it's past, present, and future Japan. I wrote present. The main character is a city doctor who's assigned to the country, and with a romantic interest of the village handyman, who's a goofball. She's a city sophisticate. He's a country bumpkin with perfect abs. And may not entirely be human. It's a supernatural story.
Do you see how she weaves it in? She's an amazing storyteller.
Yeah. So imagine mid-flight fucking.
Oh, okay, that works for me.
Yeah. So the character, to bring that into your traditions, my character in my story may have ancestral relations to Garuda. Okay. So there. Don't say I didn't woo.
Midori does woo. She just does like stealth woo.
Stealth woo.
Stealth
In
woo.
language or pragmatism, woo can still happen. So practical tips, don't take it so seriously. Get a blindfold. Eyes on person, eyes off hands, eyes off rope. And your success is measured not by the perfection and complication of rope, but the joy that you collaboratively create. And keep your expectations low. Oh, great. I'm a mime now.
I just love, Midori, how you take things that people can get sort of so in their head and theoretical and technical about all things kinky, and you just make it incredibly simple. And a lot of people, I was noticing this week as I was posting about this video coming up, they're like, oh, I'd love to learn about rope, but I'm so intimidated by it.
Sure.
And it's it can be if you see these pictures, you know, on fetish sites or on Pinterest or wherever.
Even fashion magazines. Yeah.
Right. Can be
intimidating.
Yeah. So how can you break it down and make it simple? And that's a lot of what Midori can teach you.
So understanding the intention and the mood, right? That will go a long way, because I am lazy at topping and dominance, which means I want to simplify and get to the good stuff. Yeah. Let's try this. May we interact again?
Yes, please.
Okay. So let's go for collaboration of mood. How do you feel about submission and devotion?
Delighted. Yes.
Okay. Great. Excellent.
Midori knows me well.
Put your hands up, please.
Just up.
Just hold it up, like holding a platter. Okay. I want you to hold this rope. And I want you to keep this up. Give it a good hold. I want you to make sure you're feeling it. Okay. Good. I want you to keep that rope up. Despite whatever I do to you. And when you drop the rope, the scene will end. Now, what we have here, my friends, is still rope bondage, because the rope is controlled. By using rope, I'm controlling and limiting your mobility. But by understanding the intention, aka mood, I have now designed the minimum effort, because I'm a lazy fuck. The minimum effort it takes to achieve my sense of dominance and control, while engaging in your devotion and surrender. This too, my friends, is technically rope bondage. And eventually your arms are going to fatigue. But let's see the struggle between your will and want to serve and the inevitable fatigue. This is also called predicament bondage because we have now created a predicament.
This was my first class I went. I can't even speak anymore. Yeah, we'll talk later.
This is rope bondage. This is actually rope bondage. So you're going to now start shifting your muscular energy as well as emotional energy as well as all the woo energy to keep the rope up so you can keep experiencing this sensation. We essentially just designed a Simon Says. So, what do you think? Viewers, shall I keep going this, or shall I just give her a chance to maybe lower her arms? I think I'm gonna give her a chance to lower her arms. Well done. Well done. I'm gonna take the rope out of your hand. You will let go of the rope. Excellent. Thank you. Well done. That was rope bondage.
Oof. That was really up the door. Thank you.
And did I have to tie a single knot? Nope.
Thank you for the love, you guys. I didn't know I was going to be doing predicament bondage with Midori today.
And all PG too.
It is all PG. We even kept our clothes
It's
on.
yeah, Facebook safe. Instagram safe.
Yes.
Of course, I'm looking at you out there and I'm visualizing you naked.
Yeah, they can be naked.
Right? I know, right? I'm totally visualizing you naked out there.
Oh.
Let's see.
Can I hold on to you for a second?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. There you go.
Hold on to something.
Okay.
I love how potent that was able to be.
Mm-hmm.
You tapped into so many of my kinks in a very easy way because I love to please. That's why that rope was not, my arms would have been shaking. I was like, I'll show you how stubborn I am, which I think you know about me. Yeah. Midori actually knows me quite well, and something you do brilliantly because you get people to give you information and then delightfully use it again.
Yeah, you have a bad habit of telling me what you want to experience. And then I blather it out to other people so you get it. I mean,
she's wonderful like that.
I love being really? Auntie Midori, your wing woman.
Thank you, Midori.
Yeah. Yes, tapped in, tuned in, and turned on.
I love that cap. That's a Abraham Hicks reference, which is about as woo as you can get. Yeah. Thank you, Cap, for that.
So is there? Let's see. What's going on? Can you see there?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All
Mark is talking to us. Thank you for all your engagement.
Yeah.
Mark.
So some basic hot tips, and I think this is all achievable. Yeah.
And you're going to take this even deeper. When is your next Rope Dojo?
Rope Dojo, September 21, 22 in San Francisco. I've just got a couple of spots left. Mm-hmm. Also in Fort FM, my Women's Dominance Intensive, we also explore that from a larger perspective. And Fort FM is not the wacky pokey bindy things. It's about understanding our desires, right? About what would please us now. How to be able to express that, understand it for ourselves. To express it, we're going to ditch a whole lot of cultural stereotypes and kink stereotypes so that we can communicate to ourselves first most effectively and then express it to our other, but also to find out about what our other is trying to say and to have a mutually satisfying experience.
Mm-hmm. I love that you invite people to explore themselves better so that they can communicate with others better, because I believe to have good sex, we have to be good communicators. And how can we communicate if we haven't figured out what the hell we want? Yeah. So Fort FM, I've got New York in September and San Francisco in October and New York again in November as well. So fortfm.com and ropedojo.com. And Rope Dojos for all genders, all orientations, all experience level, right? And for Fort FM, it's for people who deal with
deal with the sexism and misogyny of living as a woman on a daily basis, you know? Yeah. And it's a small group thing. So, hey, I hope that was useful in some way. And that
We're getting some great comments. They're like, what a powerful pair you are. Thank you, Mark. And Dana said that was amazing. Thank you both. That was really quite yummy for me too. I also want to reference, both for my audience and Midori's, some of whom I'm meeting for the first time. I offer something called my Black Diamond Ritual, which is a unique fusion of Neo-Tantra and kink. So we get to look at all things kinky through the lens of the sacred and devotion. So for me, even practices, some people might say that kink or BDSM is profane, and I say that even the seemingly profane is sacred. So I think we can bring the sacred.
Yeah, I mean,
everything.
the lotus blooms out of muck.
Exactly. So we can get all stuck.
I just glued on you.
She did. I love it. I love it. But so what's lovely about the Black Diamond Ritual, it's really, I mean, I have pro-doms that come, so you can come and literally be an expert in the field, or you can be totally new either to Neo-Tantra and kink. And we look at how we explore these techniques in a very accessible way. You guided literally moment by moment by moment in beautiful, safe ritual. I have one coming up on October 15th. I have one more all-gender ticket left and just a handful of last-minute ladies tickets. Ladies are for those that consider themselves a woman, whatever that means to you. And because I knew we were getting on this, I already put the next one up for January 21st, and we'll make sure the links are in the bottom.
Oh yeah, and I'm doing a thing with Patreon where new Patreon joiners and $5 and over existing, I'm gonna send y'all this
awesome
sticker. Cinch with gusto.
And you saw how excited I got when Midori cinched with gusto.
Oh yeah, it totally makes a difference, man. All right, so I gotta hit the traffic on the way back, which is like terrifying.
But it was so fun to get to connect with you all. Feel free, if you still have some questions, you're welcome to drop them in at the bottom. And we want this to be a resource, not just for those of you who tuned in, but share it with your friends.
Yes, yeah.
Sharing is caring.
Rope Dojo, man, and Fort Japan. Check it out. All right.
All right. We'll see you soon. Thanks, you guys. Bye.
So many buttons to click. Okay, I am trying to end this by.